difference to other people's businesses, I imagine.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I imagine, because I know, because you help me with stuff, because I'm not technically minded at all. And we've known each other for a little while, haven't we, Anita, through different in-person networking groups in London. Oh, gosh, I think probably about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And this was the first time that you stepped in to work with me. Now, my work is alternative. It's about energy. It's about going within, which is quite a juxtaposition for you, because you are all about strategies and frameworks and structures. So what was it that kind of gave you a nudge to come and work with me on the Inner Circle?
I think it was actually went back to not long after we met each other, actually. For those of you, well, you probably don't know, I actually, outside of work, I'm a BMX rider and I race BMX bikes, and I was going to a championships, and Sarah and I met at a networking, and she was talking about how I had to believe in myself to get where I wanted to go to, and to really just bring in the energy within me to get where I wanted to be. And Sarah told me a little thing that I could do if I was nervous and things, and I did that at the Worlds, and it was that was like the start, the stepping stone into me understanding that there was more than just me as I am here now, and that there was more to me than we see, and my understanding of it. So that was pretty much the first stepping stone. And then we did a 1-day thing together where we really worked at looking at where I wanted to take my business. And then when the Inner Circle came up, I jumped at the chance of working you for a bit longer in a more sort of group setting, so that there was other people to sort of do things with as well. So it was really good.
Oh, thank you. And I just want to, you are very humble. When you talk about the world's BMX, it was the world champion BMX. And Anita, where did you come? Just tell everyone.
Yeah, in that one I came 7th, and then which is really good. We went to Azerbaijan for that, but then last year I got 5th in Belgium. So, and I remembered the same thing again, and it really sort of drills down to what you believe you can achieve. So I remembered that, and then there was another little message that my coach told me as well about not being afraid to step into something that most people would not want to go into, and that all pulled what you were telling me in as well, which was really made more sense. So yeah, I am world number 5. So
world number 5 in BX.
Yeah, in the 40 plus women's.
Yes,
get that in. Yeah.
And then the VIP day that you came to with me was quite a breakthrough for you, wasn't it? I think, although that you had experienced shamanic journeying with me in a big group setting, we had a very big breakthrough, didn't we, together?
Yeah.
And it really opened you up to the power within you, which was exciting. And I have to say, from my point of view, I was super happy that you decided to then come in to the Inner Circle, which is all about exploring the truth of you, the self-belief, self-trust, self-worth, all of these things in an alternative state, with shamanic journeying as a support network. How did that translate into your life? What were the tangible benefits?
Well, it made me realise that I was more than I thought I was, and I'm still on that journey at the moment, because there's always a little bit of self-doubt that creeps in, and then you remember all the things that you learned whilst you were in the Inner Circle, and you go back and you listen, and it really helps you to believe in what you're doing, especially as a business owner, because your life and your business really work alongside. And it really helped me to understand that there were things in my own life that needed to be sorted out, so that I could then make my business life work even better than it was. So that was really good. And then during the Inner Circle, I really realised that I wanted to follow my passion for Instagram and Facebook marketing in a specific niche of it, which I did do during the time in the Inner Circle, and did a launch that I took it back just over 6,500 for that. So and that was because I didn't believe that there was a need for it, but actually once I started to work with you and looked at all the different things that I was offering, I thought, yeah, I'm going to do it. So I did it.
And you did it really well. Gone from, you know,
Yeah.
from not believing that you could even have a market for it to 6.5K in quite a short amount of time.
Yeah, that was my first launch. So I'm going to plan obviously to launch it again. So yeah, it's something that I'm going to keep doing over and over, and obviously get better as I get feedback from my clients and things. So yeah, it's really good.
And one of the things you're very good at, Anita, is manifesting, and you're quite humble about that too. But you have ideas about different companies that you want to work with, and what happens?
Yeah, something tends to open up, and I end up working with them. Yeah, it's true, and I think it's believing in what you have and finding a way of actually getting that to show, and to actually sort of like follow what you learn about yourself when you are in the journey. Because I do, you know, hands up, I do find it quite difficult to do the journeying. I have to be like relaxed and stuff like that, but it worked really well in the inner circle because there was lots of times to give me opportunity. It wasn't just like a one-off, it was, you know, regular, and it helps you to move through this sort of like path in a way of understanding.
Yeah, and you get the replays as well in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
in practice, and every time you go into a shamanic journey, into your own inner world, you'll find something new about yourself. Ultimately, the inner circle is about solving problems through becoming more aware of your own self and the qualities that you have. And I've seen you do that. I've seen you really grow in the last year. Now, were there any unexpected benefits? Were there things that happened that you thought, I can see how that's come through directly because of the work I've done on myself?
Yeah, there's a lot more self-belief in what I'm able to give. So sometimes I do doubt whether my skill set is something that people want, and doing the journey and realizing that actually there's a lot that I still got to give, and packaging it up in ways that work, you know, like the way that when you do a session and then you sort of leave it buzzing, and then you sort of get your notebook out and you start writing it all down, and you sort of learn ways of sort of spending time to do that thinking and writing down, and then being able to sort of like action it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really interesting.
As you said earlier as well, that your personal life and your business life, they're all interlinked, and the way that you have expressed your own energy and what you believe about yourself and the behaviors that you have, they all move and shake and are direct expressions of how you feel, how you value yourself. Now, I know in terms of your own life, things have really changed for the better for you. You've got a very big, busy family life and 4 daughters. And you're here smiling, even though we've come through lockdown.
Yeah, well, they're a bit older, which is good. And but one thing I think that's really different was that I was able to show that I needed the respect as well. That was quite interesting for me, because obviously as a mum, I've got 4 teenage daughters now, but there's always that sort of fine line between sort of being, I mean, I'm sure other mums feel it like, you know, like, oh yeah, I'll just do it for you, I'll just do it for you, you know, and it actually understanding where I wanted to be as a person, and then where I wanted to be with my business, it enabled me to actually stand my ground a little bit and actually show my direction and show them why I wanted that direction, which was really good. And they really love that. They've really sort of like seen a different side of me that perhaps they might not have seen.
Yeah. And that's that whole self-value, self-worth piece. And not just having the concept of it, but actually standing in that and making your behavior and your actions correlate with it. It's really, really very good.
Yeah. And it happens in, you know, like obviously because I do BMX and that is part of my life, you know, when I'm not at work, I'm usually on the track. And actually what I learned through this with my work has really helped me in my competitions as well, because I am quite competitive. I do think I am quite competitive in everything that I do, but it actually made me like believe in myself as well. So, you know, at work, and I'm just as good as everybody else, if not better. And that's, you know, that's something that you have to believe in yourself, and that happens on the track and in my business.
Yeah, I call that success consciousness. You recognize that concept nowadays, but it means that, you know, being you, living as you are, your success, because you've managed, you're here, you're expressing yourself, and because of that, then these wonderful wins and business launches and different things come towards you. So really well done. I've thoroughly enjoyed having you with me. One last question, Anita, if you would. If someone is thinking about coming onto the Inner Circle or working with me, either one-to-one or anything like that, what would you say to them?
Just do it, basically. And it's because it's the whole you. It's not just about the business. It's about you as a person, and you really start to understand everything about you and everything about what you want out of life. And Sarah, you help pull that out, and you know, like where to, you know, like, you know where it's hiding, and you sort of like know how to bring it out so that you actually recognize it yourself. Because people can say to you, oh yeah, you're great, you know, you do this, but actually you've got to believe it yourself. And that's how working with you on a one-to-one and in the Inner Circle has really helped, because I know now that wherever I want to be, if I believe that it will happen and I want it to happen, it will happen.
Yeah, because you have the power, you have the
Yeah.
responsibility and the power to make shifts and changes. So Anita, thank you for your time today. It's lovely talking to you and seeing your lovely smiling face. Anybody who's watching and has enjoyed this and is thinking about the Inner Circle and wants to know more, there's a link above with all the information, an application page which invites you to have a call with me, which is just a 15-20 minute call to talk about whether or not we're a good fit and see whether or not you want to join in the Inner Circle. So, you know, the investment is £3,000 for 6 months, and there are payment plans available. That's plus VAT if you're in the UK. So I really would love to talk to you, and I'd love to welcome you into the Inner Circle. Anita's had amazing results. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with her, and I will see you again soon. So thanks very much. Thanks, Anita.
Okay, bye.
Bye.